Adam.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of Council and Committee for May the 12th, 2025 to order. I'd like to welcome members of Council, members of the staff team, and the many people who have joined us this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Today, our land acknowledgement will be read by Councillor Roots.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of Petawawa Town Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Omam Winini Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Omam Winini people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years, and we wish to acknowledge our shared responsibilities in responding to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission 94 calls to action. Calls to action number 53. We call upon the Parliament of Canada in consultation and collaboration with the Aboriginal peoples to enact legislation to establish a National Council for Reconciliation. Recent progress. In 2024, Royal Assent, which will establish the National Council for Reconciliation as an independent, Indigenous-led, non-political organization working to advance reconciliation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roots. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest on any of the matters before us this afternoon? Having seen none, we'll now go to our Finance Department, and I will ask Paula if she could come up and join us. So first on our agenda is Finance Report -14-2025, April 2025 Expenditure Report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor and Councillors. So this month of April, the check numbers range from 5,121 to 5,335, totaling 1.309646 million. The number of vendors paid were 160. The total dollar amount of checks, again, was the 1.3 million. Average dollar per check is $6,681.87. The average dollar per invoice is approximately $2,238. $2,238. The number of vendors that were paid over 100,000 were 4. That being said, it was Ontario Water Clean Water Agency for their monthly contract, as well as the water system reduction project. The public library with their subsidy for both April and May, running close at the same time they were cut, the receiver general for the CPP EI, as well as Wade contracting for the Public Works Edition progress payment number 8. So the checks have been issued and processed. I do realize that there was a truncation on the bottom of the PDF report. I did quickly resend the report out to all of Council and the Deputy Mayor, as well as our Clerk's Department, just so you could see the differences. And do I have any questions?
Okay, thanks for doing that, Paula. And any members of Council have any questions of Paula? Having seen none, I'll ask for a motion to accept FIN-14-2025 April 2025 Expenditure Report. Councillor Roots and seconded by Councillor Carmody. All in favor? It is carried. Thank you. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda, we have Chris Mantha from the Public Works Department. Welcome, Chris. And first up is your monthly report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Sabourin, members of Council. Right, monthly report. Lots to bring you up to date on. I will try to get through this quickly. We held a meeting this morning at Public Works with Wade Contracting and JP2G, and it was a substantial completion walkthrough. So we have effectively reached substantial completion on the Public Works Edition, which is great news. We only have a few items outstanding. So the completion of the parking lot is set for May 20th, which is ahead of schedule. Great news there. We have a few items remaining with the accessible push button actuators at the front entrance. The universal washroom is complete. Final cleaning and paint touch-ups were started today and tomorrow. Washroom mirrors are still outstanding. Washroom thermostats are complete. And really the only big item that's holding us back from moving in is the completion of our communication systems, phone, internet, and computers, which should be completed soon. Our internet line was installed today. So this is kind of our roadmap to moving now. Our first ATCO trailer, the washroom trailer, is gone, which is fantastic. And that smell has left our yard, so it was a big win right there. So our public works team of skilled operators will move in first. We're just waiting for the lunchroom to be completed. And there's just one item remaining there. It's the water line for the fridge so that the guys can have cold water and ice. So they're going to move in Thursday or Friday of this week. And then as soon as our communication systems are complete, our office staff will start moving in. So I put in the report I was aiming for the week of May 26th, but it might actually be the week of May 19th. So we might actually be a week ahead of that schedule. And I just want to take a moment to thank everybody at Public Works, all the guys that have worked really hard over the past year, over a year living in trailers. And I can honestly say that there was not one complaint. So they did their jobs. They stuck together, worked as a team, and continued to serve the residents of Petawawa and offer the same level of service that we would have if there was no construction. So I'm really proud of the crew we have. And I believe that's it for the Public Works edition. There'll be more to follow on that. I would like to have some sort of a welcome opening for council to attend. So I have some vacation coming up, but as soon as I'm back, I'll get onto that file. As far as the town hall office renovation, as you know, we've awarded to Thomas Cavanaugh Construction Limited. We held a senior management meeting on May 6th. The intention of that meeting was to review options for construction in preparation for a kickoff meeting between Thomas Cavanaugh, Bell and Associates Architecture in the town. And we were looking, of course, to focus on staff safety and the impact, minimizing the impact of construction activities on staff while the construction process is on. And also we want to ensure that public access is maintained throughout the construction process. So that was the focus of that meeting, good planning. And there'll be a kickoff meeting coming soon with Thomas Cavanaugh. As far as Civic Center parking lot improvements, we are going to tender tomorrow, May 13th. So that project is moving ahead. Under building condition assessment, we've awarded to Roth IAMS. They are the successful proponent for this contract. It's a $75,000 investment. And basically it's going to do a study of all our municipal buildings and feed information into our asset management planning. The assessment will provide a roadmap for more accurate capital budget planning and timely investments into maintaining our municipal buildings. So basically we're looking for more proactive capital investments instead of reactive investments, which will help us for our budget forecasting. Under water and sewer projects, we held a meeting today at the Pinehurst Estates with JP2G and the town and also the owner of the Pinehurst Estates facility. And that project is moving ahead to tender in late May and closing in June. So that project also moving ahead. Water tower rehabilitation on Water Tower Road. We are looking for tender pickup in late June with tender closing in July. Grit tank number 2, tender document is being prepared for pickup in late May with tender closing in June 2025. Under the disinfection byproducts reduction study, there'll be a report to follow on that, so we can discuss that after. Under the road construction projects, Murphy Road urbanization, we held a meeting on May 6th with the town, the county of Renfrew, and JP2G consultants in anticipation of construction startup to finish up the remaining works from last year. And I can report that construction started today. And Councillor Carmody, I haven't forgotten the manhole, just so you know, okay? Norman Street in and out, there's no update on that tonight. Black Bay Road, Eichstätt, no update, and the PXO's no update tonight. Under operations, good to see that all our staff have completed their practical portion of first aid training, bringing that training up to date. I also wanted to recognize the Public Works Department along with Civic Properties, all their work that was done for the Lee Warden Parade. I think it went really, really well, and it was good. It was very well prepared for. And starting to see a ramp up in locates, 138 locates completed in April. Under procurement, it's laid out there, but certainly a busy month as far as procurement. We're really starting to ramp up now for our construction season. Under civic properties, I just wanted to highlight that Ryan Tabram has completed his training as now a certified ice technician with the ORFRA, and that's great news for Ryan. Proud of him. And then under water and sanitary, there's two reports here. There's a March report and an April report. And the only item in there that I wanted to note was, of course, in the April report was the HAA exceedance, which was slightly higher than the limit of 100 UGs per liter. It came in at, or I believe 80. I apologize, 80 is the limit. It came in at 94.52. So we are still dealing with that exceedance in our system, which again refers back to the study that's coming in the report to follow. And I believe that's it for the monthly report highlights, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Chris, for that very thorough briefing of your report. I'll turn it over to members of council for questions. Having seen none, you were very, now I see one. James.
Easy one, Chris. Just glad to see the building condition assessment moving ahead. Any idea what the timeline is on that?
Through you, Madam Chair, to Councillor Carmody, I'm not sure. We're just waiting for a response from Roth IAMS for the kickoff meeting schedule.
Thank you, Councillor Carmody. Any further questions? Having seen none, I'd like to request a motion to accept the Public Works Monthly Activity Report by Councillor Coutu and seconded by Councillor Donovan. All in favor? It is carried. Next on the agenda, we have PW-15-2025 draft bylaw to amend off-road vehicle bylaw 1597/23. I'll turn it over to Dawn Rakowski, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Sabrin. So this afternoon, I've presented what our final bylaw should look like unless there's going to be any changes proposed this evening. So it was based on direction received from our April 28th meeting. Just letting you know that I've been in communication with the County of Renfrew regarding our permission for access on their roads and intersections to cross. They are going to bring our request to the Operations Committee May 28th. And if positive, then a bylaw at County Council would go forward possibly June 11th. So under our bylaw, there's a new section 3.15 has been added, and that's to cover the Appendix D where off-road vehicles are not permitted. And then section 5.5 has been added as well. Appendix A has been amended for reducing the roads and adding Town Center Boulevard and Canadian Forces Drive and Civic Center Road. And Appendix B, C, and D again have been updated based on direction received at our last meeting. We're recommending that council moves forward with our bylaw on May 20th, so as not to inconvenient residents who don't live on a county road, like who wouldn't have to access a county road, just with, again, the disclaimer that off-road vehicles can't travel on the list of county roads until the county adopts their bylaw. And again, the earliest that would be with June 11th and June 12th. When we would receive notification. I attached the draft bylaw with changes noted in red just for ease of reading, and noted that our existing set fine schedule will also need to be amended. We will again relocate any existing signage that we have prior to ordering anything new. And we are looking for council's approval to approve the draft bylaws presented and that we bring it forward to the next meeting of council. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from members of council? Councillor Carmody.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Not a question, just a comment. Thanks for doing such a great job on this bylaw, Don. It looks perfect to me, so I'd be happy to support it in its current form.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, again, yes, thank you, Don, very much. And a lot of work went into that. And I think it adds great opportunity for our residents to get to and from the Algonquin Trail from their home and back again. Definitely not to travel the roads to your friends, but to access the trail. So thank you so very much. Okay, I'd now like to have a motion that council approves the draft bylaw to amend off-road vehicle bylaw 1597/23 as presented, and that the bylaw be brought forward to the next meeting of council for adoption. By James Carmody, seconded by Councillor Driscoll. All in favor? It is carried. Thank you. Thank you, Don. And back over to Chris with PW-16-2025 contract for consulting engineering services, drinking water system disinfection by products treatment study. Chris, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, staff are recommending that council awards the contract for consulting engineering services to Stantec in the amount of $99,916, excluding HST, for the drinking water system disinfection byproducts treatability study. And that council provides $36,700, excluding HST, to the Ontario Clean Water Agency, Aqua, for project management services. And the council approves a 15% contingency allowance in the amount of $20,492. Under background, Aqua was retained by the town of Petawawa to act as the town's engineer throughout the upgrades required to the existing drinking water system to address the formation of disinfection byproducts. The objective of this study is to identify and evaluate potential alternative solutions that could be applied to mitigate the DBP formation issue within the town's drinking water system. Attached, there's a report that lays out how we arrived at our selection of Stantec. And within the report, it lays out, of course, the objective of the study is to identify and evaluate the alternative solutions to mitigate the DBP formation. But more importantly, there's a holistic push with this study to look at the function of our plant and how we chlorinate our water. And then taking that a step further, we have to look at our blended water system, because we do pull water from the city of Pembroke. So that has to be factored in. We also have to look at water aging within our system, because these disinfection byproducts are affected by the time that water resides within the pipes, essentially. So we have to look at that, and that includes the 3 water towers, our distribution system, how our system is looped, and then of course we have to look at development. So where the town is now and how many people are using the system, and how does it look in the future. So the reason why we felt as a group that Stantec offered the best proposal was they were looking at things, not just how do we address the problem today, but how does it fit into the water system of the future for the town of Petawawa. And I think we have a really good engineered proposal here to move us forward in that regard. Again, it's a complicated topic, and I've done my research with Health Canada on trihalomethanes, and the more you read about it, the more complex it seems to get. But it's not something to panic about. These are situations that can affect water plants throughout the province. Basically, these disinfection byproducts form when chlorine reacts with naturally occurring organic matter in water. So our goal is not to reinvent the wheel or change how we disinfect our water, because that is so important. It's how do we mitigate and lower these disinfection byproducts to maintain the limits that are set by Health Canada and by the province of Ontario, which I think we will get to. So that's essentially the thrust of the report. And under the financials, we had within our 2025 budget $200,000 allocated for this project. The recommendation letter from Aqua outlines project management service fees in the amount of $36,700, with consulting engineering services fees in the amount of $99,916, for a total of $136,616. So we are within our budget and along with the contingency allowance. Happy to take questions.
Thank you, Chris. And for sure, there's a lot of factors and an awful lot of complexities that have to be addressed. So you definitely want a company that's going to be able to get all that done and done well. Comments or questions from members of council? Councillor Carmody.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Chris, just a question about, we didn't have this issue before, but we have it now. So what has changed? Have the acceptable limits been lowered, and is that why we're seeing this now?
Through the chair, that's correct, Councillor Carmody. My understanding in speaking with Aqua staff is that the government thresholds for these byproducts has been lowered over time. There have been studies done on the effects of these disinfecting byproducts on animals, but they can't. I want to be careful because they can't link things yet. So essentially what the government is saying is, let's lower the limits to where we think they're acceptable. And they've been lowering. So for example, the limit of 80 ULs per liter used to be 400 many years ago. So they've been bringing these limits down. The other factor to consider is that our source water is coming from the river, and we have been encountering over the last number of decades certain aspects of climate change that are changing the source water. So that's what's spurring this study, is we have to look at the source water, the plant process itself, and where we chlorinate. Right now we chlorinate at the start of the process at the water plant. We may have to look at a different way of filtering the water and then chlorinate later in the filtration process. And then we also have to look at how we chlorinate at our booster stations and how we chlorinate at our water towers. So it's a study that requires quite a bit of work to get a really good understanding of why are we just a little bit above our government limits each time. Again, not a panic, but we have to find a way to bring those numbers down. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. Yeah, that does answer the question. And it's a topic that you want to do your due diligence on, because it is the one single thing that we can be held criminally responsible for. So it's important.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thanks, Chris. Okay, I'd like to have a motion to accept PW-16-2025 contract for consulting engineering services, drinking water system disinfection byproducts treatability study. Councillor Carmody, seconded by Councillor Roots. All in favor? It is carried. Thank you, Chris. Now we're on to economic development. Hi, Christine. How are you tonight? This afternoon? Late? Okay, so first we're going to start off with your monthly report, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Sabrin. I'm very good. Thank you so much. The Economic Development Monthly Report, just some of the highlights. The document was in the agenda package, noting some commercial business registrations circulated throughout the month of April, including Flint and Steel, which is a construction company which is co-locating within inside of Great Ape Empire, which just recently opened up in Petawawa. It's dual ownership, so it's a timely opportunity. Petawawa Dentistry has relocated to its new renovated space at 3495 Petawawa Boulevard, which is also owned by the business. Mackey's Food Truck has established at 3067 Petawawa Boulevard for seasonal service. A new food truck called Hot Stove is anticipated to be coming to the town of Petawawa, operational for the month of June. And Eva's Cafe at 2991 Petawawa Boulevard within the Ultramar location has opened up as well. We did also circulate one home-based business. Regarding CIP, there was a number of actions in that portfolio. I just want to highlight that our consultant firm, WSP, who assisted us with the creation of our community improvement plan when we did it, did reach out to get an update, and I was able to provide them with information on the success of our program and shared with them our graphic detailing the value of it, and they did ask to be able to use it in some of their future publications. With respect to the industrial park, again, lots of movement on that file. Council is well aware of some of those opportunities, including a meeting with the PSPC representatives to discuss file 132808. We are communicating with local businesses, including ongoing communications for land development. There's 2 current developers still communicating on a regular basis with us about a potential project. The car wash in Petawawa is up for sale, and I did have the opportunity to communicate with an agent looking to potentially purchase that property. Whether that bears fruit has yet to be seen. It's still available for sale. We also spent a lot of time soliciting the local businesses to participate in the IESO Save on Energy program, and I'll speak to it a little bit later on. In communications and marketing, obviously we are working forward on the Petawawa Container Market and advertising and the Works for Showcase. And in April 22nd, we did our first filming under the Your TV collaboration and new in business segment, which is officially available on the Your TV YouTube and of course through the Petawawa Business Advisory site page currently. In terms of partner engagements, I'm a board member with the Upper Ottawa Valley Chamber of Commerce, and we did host the Upper Ottawa Valley Business Summit on April the 8th. So I was there as a board member and as an event facilitator. Our BRN interviews did close at the end of April. Our goal for interviews and surveys completed was 40. We exceeded that, and we did complete 51 surveys. I just want to send a shout out to Phoenix Van Hoof, who came to work with us on this particular project and did a stellar job of completing those surveys with our local business community. We, of course, have had ongoing engagements with the Petawawa Container Market and did open May 3rd. We had over 200 people attend on our opening day. It was a very successful, chilly morning that turned into a sunny afternoon, but it was a really nice event. April the 23rd, we hosted our second Business Connect event. This was the opportunity to meet directly with Brian Richardson of Save on Energy, who we brought into the community. We had 9 registered participants, 7 attended. The good thing was Brian got to speak with them all directly and then did a site visit at all 7 locations and signed all 7 up for $3,000+ grants, which was very exciting. He also came and met with staff members of the municipality, and we are continuing works on some of our opportunities to engage with that grant program. April 25th through the 27th, we had representation at Petawawa Showcase through PBAN and with ECDEV staff. And we are also coordinating with Mike Fitzmaurice of Entrepreneurs for Change to host a special youth event at the Container Market on June the 20th. Some other activities the department has been engaged in. We did engage Stuart Bailey of Intuit to design the Petawawa letter sign for RFQ purposes. So that project is ongoing. I also had the opportunity to meet and work with Connie Lattis on the SHSM project as part of Valor, and coordinated and mentored and did judge the sessions and the projects of the students on that particular engagement. Also been doing a lot of work on branding, website development, and development meetings in general for future planning. And that's all I have right now. I'm happy to answer any questions.
That's an awful lot that you have right now. Thank you, Christine. Any questions or comments from members of council? Well, I just have two quick questions. The first one is, can you share with us what Hot Stove specializes in, or what it sort of looks like, just because I'm curious? And then which car wash are we talking about? Is it the one at the closer to the bridge, or is it the one closer to Dundonald Drive?
So it is the car wash that's closer to the bridge that's listed for sale. And Hot Stove, it's a former resident of the town of Petawawa. He's returning to the community who has experience in the food industry. He purchased the Nook on the Go food truck, and he's repurposing it. So he's bringing it to back to Petawawa under his own signature brand of food. I don't want to pre-announce what it will be. I will let that unfold as it happens.
I completely understand. Any other questions or comments? Okay, having seen none, could I have a motion to accept the monthly report for economic development by Councillor Donovan and seconded by Councillor Coutu? All in favor? It is carried. Next on the agenda is ED-10-2025 Community Improvement Plan for Pembroke and Area Airport, Len Hopkins Drive. Please, Christine.
So this is a request from the Pembroke and Area Airport for financial support for some signage under the Community Improvement Plan as a vital asset to the greater Petawawa community, supporting local businesses, travel and emergency services within the geographic area of Petawawa. It is eligible under our current CIP designation for financial support at the leisure of council. So I have been having discussions with Natalie of the airport for a period of time now regarding their opportunity to refresh the signage, and they have explored this opportunity, did provide us with 2 quotes for the proposed works. They currently have 2 signs at the opposite ends of the airport runway areas. They are looking to replace the lens on both of them and make one that's one-sided, double-sided. The current signage is very deteriorated and sun-faded and flaking in some areas. The applicant is maintaining the existing form structures, so it's really the signage lenses that will be changing. The look is not dramatically different, but it is a refresh from what they currently have. It's a first request for this applicant under CIP, and the cost of the asks are well under the limits of the $5,000 under the signage program. Actually, the ask is for up to $3,000 under the signage grant for the proposed work. This is a budgeted expense opportunity under the CIP program, so it is at the leisure of council to decide if they would like to support this particular program. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Any questions or comments from members of council? Having seen none, I'll ask for a motion that council under the Community Improvement Plan adopt bylaw 1441-21, enter into the necessary funding agreement with the Pembroke and Area Airport at 176 Len Hopkins Drive for the following CIP financial incentive program, up to $3,000 under the signage grant. Do I have a mover? Councillor Roots and seconded by Councillor Carmody. All in favor? It is carried. Thank you. And now on to ED-11-2025 Community Improvement Plan, the portal, 3227 Petawawa Boulevard. Christine, please.
Thank you again. This is for a twofold grant, up to $1,500 under the signage grant and up to $1,000 under the building facade improvement grant. The owner of 3227 Petawawa Boulevard is revitalizing the front facade of her property, as well as updating the signage. Both projects are certainly eligible under CIP. I will say that both projects are facilitated by a rebranding that the business is undergoing. So it does mean that the existing business signage and color palette would not match with the future branding of this particular change in the business's direction. So this is facilitating the ask. I will also note, as the report notes that was in the agenda package, that this is the third CIP application by this commercial property owner. In 2022, the applicant received funding support for window replacements, which was a 3 times net value to the program dollars spent. And then in 2023, the actual pylon sign at the property was a CIP ask, and that was also facilitated by the change in the signage program, which allowed for a 0 lot line installation supported by the county. Previous to that, the pylon sign at this particular site location would never work because it would have been in the middle of the parking lot. So yes, while the applicant did receive CIP funding in the past, the intent of the program is for continuous improvements to commercial properties, and it does allow for stacking and re-asking of support from council. Of course, contributions from council are at the leisure of council. Both projects are eligible and well within the prescribed funding envelopes, lower limits, sorry. Happy to take any questions if council has any.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Having seen none, could I have a motion by Councillor Donovan and seconded by Councillor Coutu that council, under the Community Improvement Plan adopted bylaw 1441/21, enter into the necessary funding agreement with Portia Strachan, owner of the commercial business The Portal at 3227 Petawawa Boulevard, for the following CIP financial incentive program: up to $1,500 under the signage grant and up to $1,000 under the building facade improvement grant. All in favor? It is carried. Thank you very much, Christine.
Thank you.
We're now on to general matters. Anything for general matters?
Nothing for general matters.
Thank you. There is no closed meeting this evening, and we are on to adjournment. Could I have a motion by Councillor Coutu and seconded by Councillor Driscoll that the meeting be adjourned at 5:07 p.m. All in favor? It is carried.